Hi there, you're listening to the Guitar Speak podcast, the show produced in Sydney, Australia, where we speak to leading guitar figures from all around the world. My name is Matt Wakeling, and thank you so much for joining me. Now today, in episode number 91, we speak to, ladies and gentlemen, Dave Leslie, one of Australia's most beloved rock guitarists. Dave discusses his career at length in this interview, from his early gigs in Swingshift, playing Ian Moss's parts, to the meteoric rise of the Baby Animals, working with legendary producers like Mike Chapman and Stasium, touring extensively and hanging out with Van Halen and Bryan Adams. Some great stories there. He talks about his iconic Frank Grubisa guitar, talks about playing sessions, working on new projects with both the Baby Animals and now as a solo artist, and much, much more. Dave has been one of our show's most requested guests, and we're super happy to have him on the show. You're going to love this, so stick around. All right, before we get to the interview with Dave Leslie, just a couple of things. Number one, we've just hit over 70,000 downloads of the Guitar Speak podcast, so thank you so much for being a part of that, for subscribing, for downloading the episodes, for sharing them on your social media, all that stuff. Thank you for being part of this, and it's a fun milestone to hit. Second thing I wanted to share is I got a really great email during the week from Lewis C., one of our listeners in Singapore, and he was writing regarding the David Moyes interview. Now, David Moyes, of course, is a guitar player from Air Supply, Hillsong, lots of iconic sessions in Australian music history. And he was our featured guest for episodes 16 and 17. So Lewis writes this email regarding those episodes. Just want to write thank you guys for doing the David Moyes interview. What a great podcast. Really enjoyed listening to him recalling all the stories. I'm from Singapore and I'm a good friend of Rex Go, so it was really interesting to hear from David about all the stuff with Air Supply and with Ibanez guitars. Besides the personalised guitars that Ibanez custom built for the two of them, they also gave Rex a Lee Ritenour prototype guitar, one of the 3 prototypes before the actual production of the Lee Ritenour LR10 signature guitar. You can see Rex playing it on some older Air Supply videos, including the performance of Sweet Dreams on American Music Awards in 1981. I acquired that guitar from Rex about 10 years ago. It is a fantastic piece of workmanship. I also own 2 Ibanez artists from the early 80s, as well as the Strat style Blazer that David talked about in the podcast. I agree totally with his observations and remarks on those wonderful guitars. Thank you again for interviewing him. All right, Lewis, thank you so much for that email. That is very cool. I'm really glad you enjoyed the interview with David Moyes, and thanks for telling us about those guitars. Man, the Lee Ritenour prototype, that is super cool. I've played a Lee Ritenour. They are great guitars. And Lewis has sent us some pictures of his vintage Ibanez, including the Lee Ritenour prototype. It's got like a center stripe. I don't remember if the production models had that or not. I don't think they did. Anyway, I'm going to put those pictures up on our Facebook group, the Guitar Speak Forum. You can look that up and join that group. There'll be links to that in our show notes. And there's also links to our interview with David Moyes and all our interviews at guitarspeakpodcast.libsyn.com. All right, we're going to jump into our interview now with Dave Leslie, another wonderful Dave. Let's just get straight to it. Dave Leslie, welcome to the Guitar Speak podcast.
Thanks for having us, Matt.
Great to have you. I was saying the other week when we were teeing this up, you are one of our most requested guests, so we're super happy that we could hook it up. It's really very cool.
Oh, I'm very touched by that. I hope I've got something worthy of sharing.
I reckon you might. Hey, I want to get the full Dave Leslie story, but if we can talk about what you're up to now, because 2018 seems to be, a great year for the Baby Animals and yourself. What's been happening? There's been some new music. I know there was a new single released in February this year, Tonight, from the band, which was awesome. And you're just about to jump on a plane tomorrow morning to keep touring around Australia. Seems like you're playing lots of shows as well.
Yeah, actually, the first half of the year has been flat out. It's been really good. As you mentioned, we did go into studio. Our sound engineer, Ricky Ray, has got a studio are kind of in the hills outside Melbourne, and we've done a few beds. Finished. We're kind of in the process of finishing them off at the moment. But yeah, one of them resulted in that single tonight, which was good. Triple M got behind it, which we were really, pleasantly surprised about, and so it's given us a bit of a shot in the arm. It's been good.
Yeah, cool. Man, great tune too, like super melodic solos and some really great textures from the guitar parts on that one too, man.
Oh, thanks, man. Yeah, it's we didn't exactly. I know what it did. I wanted to do something kind of spacey and ethereal, and make it try not to make it sound too U2-y.
Uh-huh.
But it kind of did. But that's all right. That sort of is what it is. But I just wanted to paint the picture and make it sound a little, cosmic and stuff like that. So it translates pretty well on stage too, which is good. Yeah.
Yeah, I imagine that'd be a lot of fun that track.
It's good fun to play. Yeah, you disappear into it.
I saw a picture on social media recently. I think it was from some of these sessions you're talking about, and you had like 6 or 7 mics on one cab. Am I on the right track?
Yes, we had 5.
Oh,
we had,
5. Only 5.
Yeah, four 57s on one speaker, and I think a U87 Neumann on the other, just on a 2x12.
Yep.
Yeah, we're just messing around with stuff, and Ricky, the engineer, has tried that a few times, and it kind of works. Once you get the phasing and everything right, each one of those 57s sort of paints its own little picture of the sound, and then you just mix it at the desk before you kind of put it down and pull. One of them I think was pretty well unusable, but there was 3 out of 4 that were pretty good.
Nice.
And just you mix you paint a little picture with the 4 mics, and it works well. Yeah.
Awesome.
And it's great fun to do. It's intriguing, and I love that sort of stuff.
Cool.
Yeah.
Great. And what are you tracking with? Like guitars, pedals, amps? What's the signal path like?
I'm trying to keep it pretty simple. I had my Melbourne amp and a few distortion pedals, but I think for that session, it was Melbourne amp and a couple of drives.
Okay.
That's about it.
Yeah, cool.
And I think the ambience came from a Line 6M9, which I've since replaced with a Fractal AX8, which I absolutely love.
Yeah. Nice. I see you using the Fractal Live as well. Is that just for effects? Is that or using it for amps as well? Or?
Yeah, when we tour, I sort of use it for preamps as well, and just plug it into the effects return of whatever's there.
Okay.
It's great, man. I love that thing. I really do. I've disappeared. I've fully subscribed to it, and I've disappeared into the editing realm of it. And there's some awesome sounds in there. It really is. I really like it a lot.
Nice. Very cool. Very cool. Yeah, it seems to be more the Derigo on the road now, especially like the Red Hot tour. So many guys you're touring with. So I know Brett Kingman from James Rain's band is using one. He's done so for a long time.
Yeah. Brett Garsted. Yeah, he was the one that kind of converted me.
Oh, okay.
He was the one that converted me. Yeah, and I actually rang Brett Kingman as well and said, "Oh, look, I'm thinking of getting one of these things," and he's like, that's okay. You'll get over it. You don't need to join the dark side. But it's actually really good. There's so much. It sounds organic.
Yeah.
You got to kind of work for it. It's in there. There's gold in there. You just got to dig for it. But it solved a lot of problems recording wise as well. It's quick. But I still love my valve amps, and I'm still an old school valve amp sort of guy. But as far as solving problems and things like that, and getting great sounds quick, it's really good. Yeah, and on the road, it's great. Susie gets it in her ears, and it's consistent. It's the same every night. So it's sort of it's a real problem solver. Yeah.
Nice. Hey, speaking of valve amps, I've got a couple of listener questions for you as well. My mate Warren Riley asks, "Is there any chance?"
Okay.
He asks, "Is there any chance of a Melbourne amp signature model?" Because you've been working with those guys for a little while now, hey?
The one, with Don Kahenga, who is Southern Cross Audio, who does the Melbourne amps. Well, the one I'm using is called the DL602, so it is a signature
there you go.
of sorts.
Very
signature
cool.
model. yeah, we liaise pretty closely with it.
Yeah, nice. What's the basic idea with that?
It's 2 channel.
Yeah.
One's a really nice pushable clean,
Mm-hmm.
and the B channel is a juicy drive, but it's crunchy, not fizzy.
Okay.
Which is his whole thing. It's got to sound really organic, and even when you put like some sort of a drive pedal in front of it, and you're screaming in full solo land, you can wind it back on your guitar volume,
Yeah.
and it will still clean up.
Beautiful.
Which is you can sort of step off the gas, and you can take a corner, and then you can wind it up, wind it wide open again, and off you go again. It's actually a really versatile amp. It's really
Awesome.
good.
Awesome. Very cool.
It's like an instrument itself. You actually play the amp. Yeah.
Yeah, cool. So you're a play the amp kind of guy, then I guess controlling from your guitar and your volume pop. Nice. Very cool. Well, before we go back, last question from the current day questions, I guess. The new album, is there a release time planned for that at this stage, or are you just still tracking and seeing where that ends up?
Not a, we're still sort of putting the bits on it.
Yeah,
Um, it's a kind of a work in progress. It'll probably be an EP. I'm not sure if we've got enough quality material to make a whole record
sure.
at this point. You can't do, um, you know, uh, sell a couple of singles and then fill the rest of the album in, because people will just pick the eyes out of it. And if you're going to go to the expense of recording a tune, you're better off making it as good as you can make it. So we're going for quality, not quantity at this stage,
Yeah, for
I
sure.
think.
Yep.
But there's a few on the horizon. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a few songs left in us. Yeah,
Nice.
yeah.
Good to hear. No, good to hear you guys are still writing and producing. That's awesome. So, Dave, let's go back. What got you started playing guitar in the first place?
We always had a musical household. Both my mum and dad had their own kind of record collections and stuff. So can you hear me?
Yep, gotcha.
Hello.
Yeah,
Oh, okay, cool. I don't know how far I was into that. But yeah, we always had a musical household, and mum and dad had their own record collections. It was kind of like Burt Bacharach versus Roy Orbison in our
yeah,
place.
cool.
Yeah, old school vinyl and stuff, and just watch Bandstand and the old music programs on the ABC. I think GTK it was called,
Oh, okay.
before the news or after the news, a black and white thing that had like Billy Thorpe and all these people on it. And I just looked at this and went, wow, man, that looks like a whole lot of fun. And found out that it kind of was. Just you started playing guitar at age 9,
Okay,
and sort of kind of learning ever since, really. Yeah.
nice. And did you take lessons or did you teach yourself early on?
I took lessons from a chap for about 4 years, I reckon, um, or maybe a bit longer. Just we did a lot of the groundwork, a lot of harmony, a lot of theory, a lot of building blocks, which I still use today. Which, in retrospect, it was invaluable, that info. Um, as far as understanding music and the construction of things and everything like that, and
Sure. Yeah.
learned some great songs. And because the guy that taught me was basically a singer-songwriter, guitarist
Okay.
sort of thing. When
Yeah.
we hit a bit of a, a position when I took a copy of Eruption into him, and I said, "Well, this is all really well and good, but I want to learn this." And he's just gone. Said, I saw a dude do it on TV this afternoon when I went home from school, and I went down and got the first Van Halen record, and what a life changer! It still gives me goosebumps when I
Oh
listen to
yeah.
Eruption, the original recording. Oh, and then I got a chance to go and listen to Eruption night after night there for a little while,
Yeah,
which was good
man.
fun. We
Yeah,
toured with Van
absolutely.
Halen quite a bit back in
Oh,
the day, and it still gave me goosebumps. Yeah.
that's super cool, man. We'll definitely get into that. That is incredible. Um, did you end up doing bands and things?
Oh, we had a couple of school bands.
Yep.
A couple of we had two guitar players and no bass player. Just a kid down the road had a drum set, and we played a couple of school fates and things like that.
Yep.
But just loved it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, playing Kiss tunes.
Awesome.
I mean, we weren't very good, but we had fuzz boxes. I know me and the other guitar player had a fuzz box each, so it sounded pretty bitchin'. That's for sure. I'm not sure musically how accomplished it was, but it sure was a lot of fun.
That's
Yeah,
very
man.
cool. That's super
When you
cool.
first plug into a distortion,
Yeah.
you get that feeling.
Yeah.
I work in music retail occasionally, and I sold this kid his first Boss DS1 the other day, and the look on his face, I'm like, yeah, man, I know that feeling. It's like, yeah, this sounds really cool. Oh, yes, it does.
You ended up playing in Swingshift, which was, for those who don't know, was a Cold Chisel cover band. What did you learn from playing Ian Moss's parts night after night?
Yeah, well, that was an amazing guitar lesson. And we had original band, and we had no gigs, and it was summer coming up, and we thought, wow, man, we got to do something, We're both really big Chisel fans, myself and the singer. So we decided to do that, We became kind of one of the first kind of tribute acts, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But it was good. That Mossy's phrasing, the songwriting, the way that band, it really gives you an appreciation for what a great and dynamic band Chisel were, and how they were all they when they played country, they were like a great country band. When they played blues, they were an amazing blues band.
Mm-hmm.
They could rock. There was a multifaceted thing, that band, and it was a really good lesson, I reckon, for me, as far as taste, restraint, phrasing, tone. Yeah. I mean, Mossy's tone, my God.
Yes.
To try and emulate that. I'm still trying to emulate it. It's you can't beat the real thing, and that he's the real deal. But it was a great experience.
The Mossy solo in Forever Now, it's got that kind of floating quality, that last solo. There's parts of Early Warning where I sort of feel that same kind of phrasing, or not the same phrasing, but the same idea. There's just where you're playing with the timing and you're just floating above the groove. It's very, very cool.
That was probably what would you call it, like through osmosis or something. It probably wasn't meant to be, but it was it just happened to be there. Yeah, well, that's nice, man. That's a compliment.
Yeah, oh, cool. Man,
I know what you mean, though. There's long bends and stuff like that, long vibrato. It's kind of characteristic of his style,
Yeah,
and
nice.
it's a great thing. So I'm glad that some of it stuck. Yeah,
nice. Oh, all the while being your own thing, you've obviously morphed together over developing your own style. Now, that first album, Baby Animals, came out in '91. What was the formation of the band? What were the circumstances around that?
Susie had been in England and came back out to Australia wanting to form a band, sort of do something rock, and she knew John Woodruff, the manager.
Yeah.
I had auditioned a couple of times for Rose Tattoo.
Oh, okay.
Knowing that I wasn't going to get there. I think it was about the Beats of a Single Drum record with Suddenly on it.
Oh, yeah.
They needed a guitar player. I had no tattoos and dyed blonde hair, so I kind of deep down knew that I probably wasn't going to get the gig, but I'll go along and have a play anyway.
Yeah.
And their bass player, Andy Sishon, who has since gone over to the States and played with Shania Twain and currently playing with Billy Joel. He was also in a band called Judge Mercy back in the early days.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, it was his band, singer guitarist, but at this point he was playing bass in Rose Tattoo. And we became really good mates. And his fiancée was working for Woodruff, and so when Susie came out, Andy he threw my name into the hat, and I went along and had a play and never left. Yeah.
Great, man. Now, this is in Sydney in the late 80s, I'm gathering.
Yeah, September 89 it was.
Yeah, cool. I remember you guys used to play at the Cardoma Cafe down in the Cross quite a bit.
That was our first gig. Our first gig was at Cardoma. We played there a lot, actually, that and Springfields.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think we started at Cardoma and then started to do kind of Friday nights at Springfields where you go on it kind of too.
Yeah.
You get to the gig at you get to the gig after midnight.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Man, I remember playing the Bourbon, doing the graveyard shift a few years ago, and yeah, the sun is creeping through the door when you're playing your last set. It's pretty weird.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, the bourbon. Far out, man. Yeah, I walked out of there with my sunglasses on a couple of times too. Yeah.
The Cardoma, I ended up playing there a couple of years, like sort of early 90s, and that's a pretty small room. I was trying to imagine what it sounded like with you guys in there.
Well, we only had small amps and stuff like that at the time too.
Okay.
That was long before the three Marshall quads. I think I had a boogie combo. I think I had a
Okay.
Mark III boogie combo that
Yeah,
ran
yeah.
the clean because the middle channel wasn't that great, but the clean and the lead were
Yes.
amazing, and the boogie clean's amazing. And I think I just threw a few pedals into the front of that and
Nice.
used that. I think we only had little amps because I remember. Oh, it was a few times we'd played. We played with Candy Harlots, and we had to set up in front of their entire setup. So we were setting up four across the front. It was me, Frank, the drummer, Susie, and Eddie, the bass player, just in a row,
Yeah.
straight across the front of the stage.
Wow.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot of room there. Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah,
Now that first record you ended up recording in the States, that must have been a pretty exciting time for you.
yeah, it was an amazing adventure actually. We did a couple of weeks of pre-production in New York.
Yeah.
With Mike Chapman, the producer, who is an Aussie but had produced. Oh goodness, no, he's produced. He writes hits in his sleep. That guy. He produced My Sharona. That was good enough for me, but he's done so much other stuff as well.
Awesome.
Yeah, and see, he put us through boot camp. Sort of rehearsed us up for a few weeks. Pulled the songs apart, put them all back together again, and kept the kind of live aspect of it, so that wanted to keep the energy as much as possible.
Sure.
And then we went up to Bearsville in Woodstock. It was a studio owned by Sally Grossman, who's the widow of Bob Dylan's manager. Dylan, the band, and all those guys recorded up there. As did Jeff Buckley did Grace up there too after we'd been and gone.
Wow.
But it's that room, it's that studio. It's an amazing. It's not there anymore. I think it's a block of units or something, or a car park or something now.
Right.
But
Wow.
yeah, an amazing room. Yeah.
When you guys hit in 91, it was such a breath of fresh air. There was all that visceral energy, like classic Australian rock, but there was this real finesse in the musicianship and some interesting twists and turns in the tunes that kept it interesting. And your first two singles were massive: Early Warning and then Rush You. I think you ended up with four big hits off that first record.
Yeah, I think there was four singles off the first one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. Early Warning and Russia was a good 1-2 combination, I reckon. That's for sure. To sort of release first out. But I remember hearing Early Warning on the radio for the first time.
Oh yeah.
And not realizing. I think it was on Triple M or something, and we'd been back a little while, and just heard, and I went straight into studio mode, and it didn't occur to me that it was actually on the radio for a while. I'm listening to it, and I'm listening to the faults and the mistakes and the anomalies, and oh god, we should have gone back and fixed that or whatever. Because you're just so deep into it that it's hard to kind of listen to it without being subjective. And then I realized, it's on the radio. It was all right then. I snapped out of that mode and went,
nice.
It's out. There's nothing you can do about it. You can't change it. It's out. So that's a pretty cool feeling. Yeah, and it happened, with the last single Tonight, just a few months ago.
Yeah, right.
Just driving around, and all of a sudden that intro starts. I'm like, oh wow, I can't believe after all this time I got that feeling again. It's like, oh wow, man, it's cool. It's a good feeling. Yeah.
That's awesome.
See something, from to an idea to germinate into kind of something that gets played back at you. It's pretty special.
Yeah. And the response in Australia was huge. There was, it was so well received really, really quickly.
Yeah, it was good. The radio stations jumped on it. I guess it was sort of slotted into a certain thing there. It wasn't too risky. It wasn't too soft. It just had that thing. It wasn't exactly a formularized piece of work, but it's the way it sort of fitted in. It seemed to go like that, which is a happy accident. Yeah.
Yeah, nice. I read this interview with Daniel Johns from Silverchair once, and he was asked, how how do you get your guitar sounding so big? And he said, oh, it's easy. We just make everything loud. And
Yeah.
listening back to those first two Baby Animals records, it seems like you guys were the perfect example because, of course, Sousa's up front with that incredible vocal, but the guitars and Eddie's bass tone was, super present and really interesting. And Frank launches, the double kicks at the end of your radio single. It was a pretty exciting tune. There was a lot of really cool things going on.
Yeah, it was a statement, and that was a bit of a slogan in the studio. Actually, everything louder than everything else. So it was sort of like it was. Everything was kind of competing for space in the track, and it was sort of like everything is right on edge,
Yeah, nice.
Jamming. And we recorded it loud. I lost count of the amount of NS10s that we blew up on those sessions.
Oh, wow.
And they ended up having to put fuses inside the speaker cables of the big ones too, because they're Uris, and so the big built-in ones.
Yeah.
We were tracking using those. It was like louder than a gig.
Okay.
Tracking guitars.
So
yeah.
So you're in the control room, but the monitors were just crazy loud.
Yeah, the monitors were crazy loud. Occasionally I'd be out in the recording studio room, but then when it's for double tracking and stuff like that, it's a lot easier to scope it when you're kind of, sitting in that zone, and you can sort of,
Yeah, sure.
Zoom in on it a bit. Yeah.
That record had really great left, right, like double tracked guitars throughout, like really tight but really like interesting tones as well.
That's the first time I'd ever double tracked anything. I didn't even know it existed until that point.
Wow.
It's like, you can do it again. Oh, okay, so it's twice as much guitar. Unreal.
Excellent.
Let's triple track it.
That's cool. You were playing your Strat then?
Yeah, I had my 70s Strat with EMGs.
Yep.
Which was the old Swingshift guitar.
Cool.
I borrowed. Mike Chapman had a few guitars of his own.
Yeah,
the studio assistant had a really nice blonde neck telly, which outro solo of Early Warning and a few other solos were played on.
Oh, really? Wow, that's cool.
Yeah, Chapman's Les Paul was a ripper. That and the Strat were a great combination. Yeah,
nice.
Yeah, they're a good combo. Les Pauls and Strats sort of seem to go together well. I reckon. Yeah.
Yep. And did you take amps, or did you use the stuff over there as well?
We used stuff over there.
Yeah.
A JCM 800 and a JC 120.
Okay. Yeah. Classic.
That's it. And a Marshall Governor, but the old big black one.
Oh, okay. The
red
original
stripes on it.
Yeah. Nice.
Nice. The 5 knobs or whatever it was on it.
Fantastic.
That was for boost. There's a lot of mid-range going on. That's for sure. a lot of.
But that's part of the guitar being so alive on those records, I reckon, because the Marshall's already gnarly, and just hitting it with the Governor's only gonna add to that.
Yeah, it just focused it.
Yeah,
nice.
Nice.
It was good. It just gave it that poke kind of thing,
I think that leaves a bit of room for the bass as well, because you're not doing this big scooped mid thing. There's plenty of room for the bottom end as well. So Ed's bass parts were loud and clear as well. So that was a cool mix.
Yeah. I've never understood the scoop mid thing, because the mids is that's where your wood is. That's where you kind of. I'm more the kind of the other way of the Billy Gibbons, where it's all mids and nothing else.
Yeah.
Just it sits in the mix like that. It has its own place.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of my favourite. There's so many great modes. One of my favourite modes is One Word, the intro, where you're doubling up the electric and the acoustic, and the bass is pedaling, and then there's this big euphoric launch when the drums kick in. That acoustic style, where did you pick up that kind of playing?
That was just from early guitar lessons. What was it, Timmy Rimmy or something? It's a thumb, index, middle, index, RA. I just always messed around with sort of finger style.
Okay. Cool.
That part was invented the morning of tracking. Actually, the morning it went down. Yeah.
Wow.
Sitting over recording. It was snowing outside, and I had a guitar on my bed. We needed some sort of thing, and I thought, well, I'll just sort of mess around and see if I can come up with some sort of little story,
Yeah, cool.
And that sort of, I'm not sure how many times it took But I tell people that it went down on the first take, but I'm not really sure if that's the truth or not. But
Excellent.
it wasn't double. It wasn't double track day. So that was an ovation, Mike Chapman's ovation through the JCM 800.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So
Oh,
it was
okay. Okay.
it's a single part.
Yeah.
But the JCM 800 was like 5 rooms away. You know what I mean? Because you go anywhere near it, it would just howl like crazy. So it was close mic'd, but it also
Okay.
that's where all the fur came from was the
Oh, wow.
JCM. Yeah,
That's
yeah.
cool. Man, I just thought
It
you
was
were super tight doubling that. So, there you go.
no, it was just the one part. Yeah. Just a furry acoustic. Yeah, like it.
Nice. Nice. That's one of those songs I just keep replaying the intro over and over because it's just so cool. And then when the band kicks in, it's super exciting. Love that.
Yeah, I'm pretty thrilled that it has kind of had its own. Sometimes you can hear it in sports programs and stuff where they come back from an ad and they've got this
Yeah, yeah.
furry acoustic thing. You think, oh, cool, man, that's cool. Yeah.
Excellent.
So that's
Excellent.
what it's kind of got its own life in a way. Yeah.
Man, after the record came out, you guys hit the ground running. You were touring with Bryan Adams and the Black Crowes and Van Halen, as you mentioned. Was that all before the second record? All those big tours?
That was all before the second record.
Yeah,
Yeah,
wow.
because we were signed to an overseas deal as
Yeah.
well. We had to spend a lot of time overseas selling it,
Okay.
and it was really good through BMG. I think BMG were our distributor
Yeah.
in Europe. It became a priority record for a couple of months, and so we were doing this Bryan Adams run.
Yeah.
Um, Through Europe, he had the "Waking Up the Neighbors" album, which was just going gangbusters. So we were
Yeah,
playing these
yeah.
big arenas.
Yeah.
The reactions were mixed crowd wise.
Okay.
Some crowds in Germany were a little hostile because we
Really?
were
Yeah.
playing our metally kind of rock stuff, and it was a
Yes.
family show,
Okay.
But generally, it was pretty well received. Yeah, and we had such a good time, man. Far out to go on a tour bus and tour through Europe in the
Yeah,
winter.
wow. Yeah,
Oh, it was a great adventure. Yeah,
that's
it was
awesome.
amazing.
Did you get to hang out with Keith Scott at all and talk guitars?
Yes, we did quite a bit actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were so well looked after. And
Nice.
Keith's a monster. That's funny because he does all that solid as a rock Bryan Adams stuff. And
Yeah, yeah.
his guitar playing is great. But then you get him get him in a back band room with a couple of beers in him, and he's bebop guy.
Oh,
He's like,
really?
oh yeah, man,
Wow.
the guy smokes. Yeah, we had a bit of
Wow.
a jam. Like, wow, he's really good. Just this is the stuff. This is the stuff that I don't get paid to do, and it's it was really good.
Wow.
Yeah, a
Amazing.
monster. He's a monster. Yeah, more than he gets credit for. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, man, he's one of the most iconic melodic guitar players that you might not know his name, I guess. But in terms of knowing his parts, the guy down the road's can probably whistle some of those solos.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and they're all really. You could build a house on them.
Yeah, man.
That's what I like about it. They completely serve the song. That's what all that Bryan Adams stuff, man. Each of those songs
Yeah.
are a really well thought out piece of art.
Nice.
And and it has the record sales and the crowd attendances to attest to that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
cool. And
yeah. It was. Sorry, man.
sorry, man. Did you? I think you guys recently played with Brian again on a recent Australian tour.
We did a couple of gigs. I think we did one in Perth.
Okay.
Um, it was it was a really good kid to catch up actually. Yeah. He was talking about coming back and doing some more with us, and we hope that happens.
Hmm.
But it was great, and he stood outside a stage during our set, and we walked off, and he came up and he goes, "Boy, that looked like a lot of fun." Yeah, man, it was a lot of fun because it's the way they are. Their songs are all so constructed, and everyone plays exactly like it is on the record.
Okay. Yeah.
You know what
Wow.
I mean? It's I love it, but they don't. There's not a lot of risk taken up there.
Okay. Okay.
And our band, we take a lot of risks.
Yeah. Right. Nice.
Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't, but you know, that's kind of where we'd like to keep it nice and edgy.
Yeah.
I guess that's where he thought, oh, that is fun. Yeah.
Man, tell me about touring with Van Halen. You mentioned him earlier.
Yeah. Well, what can I say? Rock and roll dream come true. It was what, 12 semi-trailers worth of gear, 10 buses worth of personnel. Was it just a juggernaut that went from town to town? We did 2 legs of the FUCK tour.
Mm-hmm.
It was a massive tour. I think it was more than 60 gigs. I know that much.
Wow.
It was a lot. It was a lot of shows, and we were always really well accommodated too. As far as every time we were able to get a sound check, they let us have a sound check. We were really well looked after. It was great. It was such a good experience.
Yeah, cool.
And we'd do 40 minutes of our hardest hitting stuff.
Yeah.
And then we're faced with, we go and do a meet and greet because we're out there selling a record. So we go and meet some people and have a bit of a thing. And then we're faced with a bucket full of beer and Van Halen's on in 10 minutes. Oh my God, what are you going to do?
That's your evening sorted, man. That's your Saturday night.
Yeah,
all good.
Every night was like a Saturday night, man. It was so much fun.
Wow, that's cool. And how about Ed? Because you guys struck up a friendship, and you ended up with one of his guitars.
Yeah, as I was saying, we really well looked after. Good bunch of guys. Isn't it funny? The guys they've been there and done that and had nothing to prove. They're just really really quite down to earth. And they were always hanging out in our band room and coming in to visit and always knocking, say good day and all that sort of thing. And Ed would always have a guitar on him, and we'd jam on some AC/DC, and we'd have disagreements over who got to be Malcolm, because he always wanted to be Malcolm, and I'm like, dude, I'm not being Angus in front of your Malcolm. You be Angus and I'll be Malcolm, because he knew all those solos. He's a massive
really?
AC/DC fan.
That's cool.
Yeah. So we played like Riff Raff and Dog Eat Dog and all this sort of stuff backstage. It was a lot of fun, man.
Wow.
It was really well versed in that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And then, one day we just walked in casually, had this guitar case with him. And he goes, "Hey, come over here. Yeah, come here." So he opens up the case and there's this red EVH Music Man. I said, "Oh, cool, man. Is that your new guitar?" And he goes, "No, it's your new guitar." Yeah. Yes. Oh, thanks, brother. That's so cool. It was very cool. It was really good. Yeah. It was and then spent the next probably 4 or 5 years playing the dickens out of it, man.
Yeah.
I think I wore the finish off that. Played the finish off it.
That's cool, man. That's very cool.
Still got it. It's under my bed right now.
Nice.
Actually, it needs a new set of frets. I might have to get it refretted at some point so I can take it back out. But yeah, that was a dream come true, man. Absolutely.
Yeah, wow.
And just we jam, he'd get up and I jump up with our sound checks, and we jam some Jeff Beck. One of the gigs, it was, I think, the last night of the first run of the first leg. We did a bit of got together backstage and sorted out a bit of a loose arrangement of Highway Star.
Oh yeah, cool.
With the dual guitar bits and everything like that. And then for our last song of the night, Mike Anthony came and sang. Ed and Mike Anthony came and played it with us. And so Mike Anthony sang because he's got that high voice, man. He sang the shit out of it. It was awesome. And me and Ed are doing like the dual guitar bits,
Oh man.
I was like, it was pretty mighty. It was monumental, actually.
Nice, man.
It's funny because it's only through recalling it and things like that where it really hits home and actually how special it was, and the further away it is, the more special it was. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
It was pretty. Yeah, it was really cool. Yeah.
Fantastic.
I'm truly blessed.
Yeah, that's cool. Hey, another listener question. Justin Studley asks, did you learn anything from Eddie? Whether it was in those jams or just watching him do his thing every night?
Not I feel like not what would you call it, formally.
Yeah.
I'd ask him to show me a couple of things. He'd be like, man, you don't want to do this, But I'd sort of learned a lot just from watching the guy play.
Yeah, sure.
And just the attitude and the attack and the way that he's not, where he plays rhythm, he comps things, and it's always fragmented chords and rhythmic. Mm-hmm. And he's jamming with Alex. He doesn't strum G chords. You know what I mean? He's not a strummy guy. It's jagged and it's gunk. It does things. It moves,
Yeah.
all the time, and so watching that sort of had an effect on me, rather than having to say sit down with Ed and say get him to
Yeah,
show me how
sure.
to do that, which he'd get embarrassed about and wouldn't do it
Uh-huh.
anyway. I tried a couple of times. I
Yeah.
even tried to get him to autograph the damn guitar he gave me, and he wouldn't do
Oh,
that.
really?
Yeah, he's like, man, forget about it. Don't worry about it.
Oh, that's cool. That is very cool.
They influence-wise, though, they jam every night. Van Halen.
Okay.
In the middle, it really got me. They'd just break down and just jam, just let to take a band solo or do a cover. It was never rehearsed. They probably had their staples that they would choose from, but
Uh-huh.
there was never anything sort of formal or rehearsed. And one night they did Crossroads. I mean, they did Born on the Bayou one night, which was amazing. And but one
Wow.
night they did Crossroads, and I remember being over Ed's side because he had two quad boxes down underneath in his bunker, so that his tech Matt could listen to the
Okay.
sound just to make sure that everything's going okay up on stage.
Yep.
And so I'm sitting over there just listening to this guitar sound. And so they do Crossroads, and Ed rips the solo from the live Crossroads Cream thing, note for note, like
Wow.
note perfect,
Yeah, yeah.
And this was after a lot of beer had been drunk. He was partying at that point,
Right.
and but man, solid as a rock. What a player!
Wow.
And you think, yeah, well, that's how good the guy is. He just channels it. He gets up just and plays, and just it's just so intuitive and so musical. That was what inspired me most. That was sort of what I
Yeah,
garnered
cool.
most from. Yeah,
That's awesome, man. That's
it's
super
really
cool.
cool.
Very cool. He I think he was rocking the 5150 amps by then as well. I think. Did you end up using, like,
Yeah,
what
we
did you do for
did.
backline?
We had some rental Marshalls. I think it
Yeah.
was 900s or something like that. And then
Uh-huh.
Ed goes, "Oh, you want to try some 5150s? We'll go. When we're in Tennessee or wherever they were. Where were they? I forget the name of the place. The PD factory. We went there and we got sorted out with
Oh, yeah,
5150s.
Mississippi.
Yeah, Mississippi. That's right. Yeah,
Hmm.
Meridian, Mississippi.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so we got sorted out with back line, which I'm not really sure what happened to, but
Okay.
probably sitting in a warehouse or something somewhere. I've
Yeah,
got
yeah.
no idea. But that was good. Yeah, that was good amps.
Nice,
They
man.
were very gainy though.
Yeah,
That's
sure.
the thing. It was like wow, it was really really big and wide open gain, and I was kind of not quite used to that. I was used to more of the Marshall thing because I'm more of a strummy guy
Sure.
than the attacky
Yeah.
thing. But I got used to it pretty quick. I mean, they sounded pretty good. So
Yep.
yeah.
Good times. Very cool.
I'm glad. But they were really good times. I'm glad I took so many photos. Otherwise, I probably wouldn't be able to remember them.
Fair enough. Man, now the second record, Shaved and Dangerous, came out in '93. Now this was produced by Ed Stasium, who he's produced heaps of stuff. At the time, I knew him most through working with Living Colour, so I thought this was going to be interesting. And yeah, the album, it still kept your rock edge, but perhaps got, I don't know, progressive. I don't know if it's the right word, but certainly there were more textures and time shifts and things going on in the tracks. Was that through working with Ed, or was that just where you guys wanted to take things?
I think we wanted to be living color.
Okay.
That's kind of where that came from.
Oh
Where
man, we
we
all
wanted
did.
to add. Oh, exactly that record, the
Yeah,
Vivid record.
yeah,
Yeah, that's a game changer too.
yeah.
Love that. Um, yeah, that was a great experience too, as far as layering and
Hmm.
everything. But in retrospect, I think the songs could have been stronger. It
Okay. Yeah.
sounded good and everything like that, but we
Oh
needed
yeah.
the areas that we needed work on, which weren't necessarily the sounds, they were the actual construction of the material. I thought we could have kind of, maybe looked at that, but that's that's in retrospect though. At the time, we thought every song on the record was a single.
Well, yeah, yeah, man.
But evidently the general public didn't agree.
But there were still hits, hey? There were still hits off the record.
Oh, there was a couple of songs that they kind of put out, yeah,
Yeah,
and a couple that we still do in the live set.
yeah,
We'll put Backbone and Don't Tell Me What to Do
yeah. Nice.
occasionally in the live set, but that's kind of where that was about it. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh man, don't tell me what to do. That real trippy part with you and Eddie and the start of the solo, and then turns into epic rock. That's a really cool part. I love that.
I always wanted to do a reverse guitar solo.
Yeah.
So I thought, well, great, we'll do. We got that kind of doo 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 da 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 da, and I thought, yeah, I could do a reverse solo on that. And so I started it with that high bent D,
Hmm.
so that when it came into the second section, it ended on that high bent D, so that I can then overdub a
Oh,
real part
okay.
on the other end
Okay,
of it,
cool,
sort of
man.
thing. So there
Nice.
was a little bit of a plan involved in that.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to do a reverse solo, man, and it was, the rhythm guitar was played through a Leslie cabinet too, and I always wanted to do that. So at least I
Yeah,
got a
nice.
chance to do some explore some stuff, at
Yeah,
the
for
at the
sure.
song's expense. But it was good fun still.
Man, I think it was worth every bit of fun. I think I loved it. The I don't know, was Stupid on that record? Or was that
Stupid was on that record. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
I mean, for me, that kind of sums you up because it's got this really urgent punk rock energy, but you're in seven for most of the song.
yeah. That was just, I don't know. Well, we liked unusual time signatures and stuff like that. So I just sort of came in sevens, and Susie actually cut that guitar solo.
Oh,
It's her one
okay.
and only, the
Oh,
one and
really
only
awesome.
guitar solo that she did. Yeah, she did some Stevie Ray warmed up leftovers on it.
Nice.
It was good. We just thought going with the you know flavor of the track.
Yeah,
We sort
cool.
of yeah have a bit of a hack. So I still wanted to do it. We used to play that song live and used to love doing it because of the unusual turnarounds and
Yeah,
the
yeah.
lumps and stuff like that in it, and Suze's solo.
Uh-huh.
But she never wants to do it anymore.
Wow. She plays great. I always love that part. The two guitar part in Early Warning. That's fun when she busts that out live when you two do
Yeah,
that part. That's really cool.
she plays better than she gives herself credit for, actually, and she never
Hmm.
practices, which frustrates the hell out of me. But she'd be really good if she practiced. If she did like half an hour a day, she'd
Yeah,
be smoking.
sure.
Yeah, but I think she does when we go on tour and warms up and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But you know, yeah, she's good. She's got a great sort of right hand, great rhythm player. You know,
Yeah, cool.
so it's good to
Nice.
have that extra texture in there. But then she'll be halfway through a song and just forget the chords, and then just stop. So all of a sudden, this barky rockin' telly that was happening on stage, it just stops, and there's this big hole there. You go, "You're right." She goes, oh, I forgot the chords. I don't know. Too busy doing other things.
Yeah, well,
Okay, cool.
she's up front. She's probably busy.
She's working. Yeah,
Yeah, man.
exactly. Yeah, she's got other stuff on her mind. She doesn't need that pesky guitar hanging around.
Hey, that second record, you guys met Betancourt, and he ended up doing some writing and playing, I believe, on that too.
Yeah, she did some writing, some playing, some stealing our singer. Um, what else did he do? Yeah, yeah, that was cool too, man. He's a good guy.
Hmm.
That was good. That was a good influence.
Yeah,
Mm.
cool. So when you say stole singers, Sue's moved to Boston, I think, not long after that record, and
Yeah. Well, we didn't lose a singer. We just gained another guitar player
yeah,
in a
well,
way.
that's a nice
You
way to
know.
look at it. That's nice, man.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Oh, we always got on great. I mean, yeah, yeah. I have a lot of respect for that guy. He's a musical monster on
Mm,
every level. Um, yeah, so that was a good influence. That's for sure.
nice. So, so I guess by mid '90s, you guys had wound up. I mean, soon to reunite or later to reunite. You ended up doing a lot of sessions. You were really well regarded as a session guy for a while there. Did you enjoy that kind of work?
Yeah, I did a lot of ads and I did a lot of sort of playing on. I jumped onto the Idol thing, which was kind of quite lucrative.
Uh huh.
Played on a lot of the records that the Australian Idol people did.
Yep.
Um, I enjoy that. I enjoy the process. It was interesting going into kind of as a pure pop, even though it was rock. They were rocky songs. It was from a pop sensibility, so everything had to be a little cleaner and a little nicer. And there was you had to take your jewelry off when you played acoustic guitar because there was things knocking against the guitar,
Uh
and
huh.
everything had to be squeaky clean for
Yeah.
those
Right.
records. But it was great work, man. Anytime you ever get paid to play guitar is always a good day.
Yeah, yeah.
That's for sure. And I really enjoyed the advertising too. I did a lot of jingles there for a while.
Okay, yep.
That was great because you had to, burn for kind of 30 seconds doing a different stuff, Coke or, Band-Aids or many and varied kind of things, ukulele gigs, acoustic guitar gigs, nylon string gigs.
Uh-huh.
And they usually go for maybe, a minute and a half, and then they cut it back to like a minute or a 30-second bit or use your best bits. And so a lot of that was you had to interpret things or had to kind of make it sound like stuff without making it sound too close to stuff. It was different sort of challenges. But they were really good. I love that.
I remember the producer Garth Porter said you're probably the best session player he worked with in that time.
Oh, really? He said that?
Yeah.
Wow, man.
That's what I heard.
That's cool.
That's what I heard, yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
Oh, I enjoyed working with Garth. I mean, Sherbet, we're a big Sherbet fan. I was a big Sherbet fan growing up. So his songwriting is amazing, and his ears are amazing. So, yeah, they were good sessions too. They were kind of almost country. They were different sorts of
sure.
material.
Mm-hmm.
But it's good to stretch yourself out of your comfort zone occasionally,
Yeah, nice. Now, were you in Sydney at that stage? Because I know you're in Melbourne these days.
Yeah, I moved to Melbourne about 4 years ago.
Right.
Yeah, so I was still in Sydney.
Okay.
All that time. Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Hey, when did the Frank Grubisa relationship start?
Frank used to work on my guitars. When I was Baby Animal started and everything like that, I was living in Mascot.
Yeah.
And Frank, I used to spend a lot of time going to PJ's Soundhouse, which became Guitar Crazy in Coogee, and I knew Frank from there and got him to do some repairs and things. And didn't realise we kind of lived only a couple of blocks away, so I'd go around and hang out and drink coffee, and we'd talk about guitars and wood and bits and pieces. And one day, just the conversation went to Frank's design and bits of wood, and half an hour later we're picking up bits of wood and looking at designs, and my first group, Bisa Merlin, sort of took shape.
Yeah. Nice.
Which was in 94.
Wow.
I think 94. Okay. Yeah.
Cool. And I still see you playing that today. That's still
sitting right next to me. It's sitting right next to me on the lounge right here. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. It's better every year. It's a good guitar, that one.
Nice. Well, what's the construction? I think from memory, it's like a set neck, 2 humbuckers.
Set neck, 2 hummies, mahogany body with a maple cap.
Yeah.
Brazilian rosewood fretboard. It's like a Les Paul, but it's different. Has its own voice.
Yeah.
I've got a couple of Mick Briley pickups.
Oh yeah.
From Adelaide in it at the moment, and they're both splittable, so there's single coil on both neck and bridge. So you get great combinations, a lot of different sounds,
Yeah, cool, nice.
Yeah, it's good.
What's the scale length? Because you played Strats for a long time. Are you running a Strat scale length, or is it like Les Paul?
Well, I always thought it was a Strat scale length, but then someone's told me it isn't. I really don't know the difference.
Yeah,
I can't feel the difference. Yeah. So I always thought it was, but I don't know. But someone said that I think it might be a Gibbo one.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm not sure, but yeah, but the set of 10s to E flat feels pretty creamy on it. That's for sure.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, very nice. Cool. Yeah, man, that's like the iconic Dave Leslie guitar. See on most gigs or pitches.
Yeah, I've had it for a while. Yeah, man, still hanging. Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, it's good.
Hey, so the Baby Animals reformed around 2008, something like that?
Yeah, it was around 2008. We went to LA, myself and Eddie and Frank, and attempted to write another album, and ended up just fighting and stuff.
Okay.
But we got together and did a few gigs, which was really good.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
So
the current lineup has been for a few years is with Dario Bortolin and Mick Skelton as the rhythm section. But it was a year or two ago you guys did the 25th anniversary tour with both lineups.
That was a good night. It was a good fun night.
Uh-huh.
Because we did the The second set was with Eddie and Frank, the old band, and we did the first album sort of in its entirety.
Yeah,
So
awesome.
the first set was Everything Else with the new guys.
Yeah.
And it's great because everyone got on great. You know what I mean? It was good. There was no kind of tension or anything backstage. It was actually a really cool hang with everybody involved, which I was really glad.
Yeah, nice.
There didn't need to be any kind of that sort of stuff, but
sure.
But that gave the new band an opportunity to play some stuff that it wouldn't normally do because we couldn't do any of the first record, so we had to do other stuff. So we had to go in extra hard because we didn't have that material to fall back on.
Yeah, sure.
And so, you know, just between you and me, and everyone who's listening, I kind of enjoyed playing in the first band first because we went extra hard.
Okay.
It's like, all right, man, you know, we got, you know, and the boys being replacements and all that sort of thing, they sort of had to own the gig, and it was a great night all round. Yeah,
nice, very cool.
But I enjoyed playing in the support act.
Well, that's fun when you get to do both, so that's cool.
I was pretty warmed up at the end of the night. Yeah. I was ready to go by then. Yeah,
I bet. Tidy. New record came out in 2013. This Is Not the End. That seems a little bit more straight ahead in terms of material.
Yeah, we'd had a bit more time to write all those songs as well.
Yeah. Okay.
So they were kind of more straight ahead song based things rather than trying to be too clever musically.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing that we found with Shaved and Dangerous, that all our muso mates loved it, but everyone else didn't get it.
Uh-huh.
So we thought, well, let's try and do one that you know most people will hopefully like.
Yeah.
You know, just but still let the songs be themselves. You know,
Sure.
There's still lumps and there's still kind of good musical bits in there. It's just, you know, call me old fashioned, but there's nothing really wrong with 4/4. You know,
Sure.
People have been doing it for a while. Nothing wrong with stuff that you can dance to.
Sure. Yep. Gotcha.
So a lot of that album fares like in our set now as well. You know, it's a pretty healthy smattering of the first record, and This Is Not the End.
Yeah, cool. Man, you've got some great records to draw from then when you're putting on shows, that's for sure.
It's fun doing the list.
Yeah.
I mean, I can imagine bands that have had 8 or 9 album careers trying to do their set list. Like, what don't you play?
Yeah.
You know, and everyone's got their favourites as well.
Mm-hmm.
But it's good. I think that the set the way it is now, it's an adventure. There's nothing in there where you go, oh God, you know, don't want to have to play this. Everything's got its own thing, and each one of the songs is its own little adventure, which is good.
Hey, and outside of the band, I've seen you do a few tribute shows in recent years. The Gary Moore show with Stormfront touring, and I think you did their more recent one, the 60s show.
Oh, the Headstock, yeah.
Headstock, that's it, yeah.
Yeah, they're fun. Oh man, I get so intimidated on those shows. Fun. You got to check your ego at the door when that sort of stuff happens.
Yeah, just if anyone's not sure what we're talking about, there's like 8 or 9 just fantastic guitar players.
And me. Especially like Kevin Borich and stuff like that. Man, you check your ego when Kevin Borich walks in the room. You know, really? He's the ultimate badass. Phil Emanuel. Phil was on those shows.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, wow.
Yeah, and he's just amazing, otherworldly.
Yeah,
those guys. You know, which is great. Because I grew up on that stuff, you know. I grew up watching. My mum used to go and take me to see Kevin Borich at the Banner Bay Hotel.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And back in the in the beer garden and stuff like that. And he still plays amazing. You know what I mean? It's not like you look at it and then you see it for real life and you go, oh, it wasn't as good as I remembered. It's actually better.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I love those nights. Yeah.
Man, I was at both of those, and I don't know what you're talking about, man. You're doing fine. You're doing fine. I loved your sets at both.
I went on after Brett Garshead, you know. I'm like, oh God, how am I going to follow that? Everyone's played all the good notes and left me all the bad ones.
Oh, that's funny, man. That's funny.
But it's a good hang though.
Yeah,
it's
cool.
a good hang. Yeah.
Cool.
It's good to just.
Is there any more of that kind of stuff coming up, or any other gigs you do, outside of the Baby Animals?
I'm actually playing at the Melbourne Guitar Show next month.
Oh, awesome. Cool.
Which is good. Yeah, I've never done it before, but just rang and so that, if there's maybe a spot they might be able to fit us in, and they're like, well, we've got the one that's directly before Albert Lee. You want to do that? I'm like, if I don't do it, someone else will. So yes.
Awesome. Nice.
Yeah. So I'm just putting a little band together, and we're doing kind of some Jeff Becky, Rod Stewart era Jeff Beck
Oh,
songs.
cool. Very cool.
And there'll be a lot of guitar being played, and so I'm sort of having an appearance there, which would be good.
Great.
Yeah, but there's just play the odd cover gig, go out under the radar and play covers.
Mm-hmm.
Do 3 sets just to keep your flying hours up.
Okay. Yeah.
Just
cool.
get out and have a play. It's good.
It's great, man.
Get out and rip solos and things. I mean, there's a bit of Baby Animal stuff coming second half of the year, but not a real lot.
Okay.
So hey, if you got a gig for me, hit me up on daveleslie.com.au.
Nice.
That's for sure. Hey, any key, anytime.
Nice, man. I would love to see you at my local, just getting up there doing your 3 sets. That would be very cool.
I really enjoy it, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Just good fun because you get a chance to stretch out and really have a good play, relax into it, sort of thing.
Yeah, cool.
Rather having to do like an hour of power and you're kind of on. I don't mind doing corner pub gigs at all. Actually, quite nice. Like it. Yeah.
And man, you've just started doing Skype guitar lessons as well. Is that something you want to tell us about?
I'd been considering it for a while. I just had to bite the bullet kind of and do it. I was a bit nervous about doing it, but I actually really enjoyed it. Did my first one the other night, and I reckon I might open myself up to do a few more because, you're sitting there for half an hour with a guitar as well, going over concepts that you're not only reinforcing for the person who is on the other end, but you're actually reinforcing it for yourself as well.
What's the best way for people to keep up to date with you and if they're interested in lessons, for example?
I'm just about to launch a website,
yep.
daveleslie.com.au. It's got information in there, and you can also sort of email, I think it's lessons@daveleslie.com.au or info. I'm just sort of about to launch that thing. I'm working on a solo EP as well, and hopefully be done by summer.
Oh, really cool.
I've got to kind of bite the bullet and sing on the damn thing.
Yeah.
I was going to get other singers. I thought, oh man, I'll have a go. Let's have a go at doing it. So I'm sort of in lyric writing mode at the moment.
Oh man, that's awesome.
Being extra critical about it.
Uh-huh.
But then you listen to the top 40 and listen to some of these other people's lyrics and go, nah, it's fine, man. How hard can it be? Everyone else is getting away with it. So yeah, hopefully that's I'll probably be available through the site, and that'll be kind of in the next few months, all being well. Yeah,
cool.
There's some killer tracks. I've got Mick playing on them, Mick Skelton, sort of done some drum tracks, and I'm just sort of filling in the holes, painting the picture at my leisure, which is kind of good because you get the benefit of hindsight. You get be able to kind of go back and replay and reapproach stuff, but then it's like, hang on, how much do you want to fix it?
Sure.
Occasionally I'm going to sooner or later I'm going to have to abandon it and go, no, that's how it sounds, and that's how it goes.
Okay, so you're self-producing.
Yes, yeah, and I'm chasing my tail at the moment, but I'm aware of it. But it'll be good.
Nice. Man, we'll have to, if you're cool, man, I'd love to have you back when it comes out. We can talk through some of the tracks. I can't wait to hear it.
I'd love to. Yes, man, I'd love to do that.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Nice.
Yeah, it's some adventurous stuff. It's good. It's going to sound great in headphones.
Cool.
That's all I can say. Yeah. Ear candy.
Man, I'm all for it. Man, I was one of the guys who loved Shaved and Dangerous. I don't mean one of the guys. I mean, I was one of the
one of the 4 guys that loved it.
Not at all. But yeah. So this sounds awesome. That sounds really cool.
Yeah, it'll be songy, but they're big sounding songs. There's textures and there's a lot of depth in there. Yeah.
Excellent.
Loving it. I'm actually really enjoying the process, actually.
Oh,
yeah.
Cool.
I'd probably enjoy it more if I wasn't so self-critical. But it's good. Yeah.
Great.
Good process.
Yeah. Oh man, really, really glad to hear that. That's excellent. Very cool. Well, man, Dave, thank you so much. It's been so fun talking to you and hearing the stories and finding out a bit more about your story.
Yeah, thanks, Matt. Well, I really appreciate the time, man. Yeah, it's good to sort of, as I say, it reinforces it too. It's given me a shot in the arm too. It's like, yeah, actually, you better go and finish this damn stuff and get some stuff happening. It's good. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
No, I really appreciate the interest, man. Thank you.
Oh, no worries. My great pleasure. And I know for our listeners as well, as I said, there's a bunch of people that kept saying, man, can we get Dave on the show? So, yeah, super glad we could get it happening.
Oh, likewise. Thanks.
Excellent. So, mate, all the best. You're hopping on an aeroplane tomorrow. I think
Yeah,
we said
off to.
before the interview, do you want to tell the nice people what you're doing for the next few days? It sounds pretty cool.
Well, it's an early flight. That's only one drag. We're on a 7:30 flight to Townsville tomorrow, because we get up there the day before. We do a sound check tomorrow night, and then we do the V8 supercar gig with Hoodoo Gurus on the Friday night, which will be a whole lot of fun. And on the Friday afternoon, I'm doing a hot lap with Scott McLaughlin in the Shell V8 supercar thing.
That's cool.
I'm actually not sure what brand it is, whether it's Holden or Ford, but it's badass, whatever it is.
It's going to be fast, whatever.
It's going to be really good, and I'll still be buzzing. I think we go over at about 4:30 and do the hot lap, and then we play at 6. So I'm still going to be on a total adrenaline buzz. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. It's going to be really exciting, man. I have to pack a couple more pairs of jocks.
Nice. Yeah, do that. All right. Well, man, Dave, thanks again, man, so much. It's been awesome. And yes, come back when your EP's out for sure.
Absolutely, man. We'll be in touch. Thanks, Matt. Okay. Yeah, really appreciate it.
All right, there you go. That was cool. That was very fun speaking to Dave Leslie. What a great guitar player with some amazing stories and just a lovely bloke. Really great to talk guitars with him. Now, his website, daveleslie.com.au, is up and running. Looks fantastic. There's all sorts of great pictures and information on there. You can contact Dave about Skype lessons through that site as well. So definitely worth checking out. All right, good times. Now, remember, the Guitar Speak Podcast, we're on Facebook and Instagram. You can email us at guitarspeakpodcast@gmail.com. You can subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts and Stitcher Radio and pretty much anywhere where you download podcasts these days. All right. Thank you so much for joining me. And we'll see you again on the Guitar Speak Podcast. My name's Matt Wakeling. Catch you next time.